I am here at Kengar Chevrolet, and I just saw that GM Authority released the powertrains for all the trim levels for the 2027 Chevy Silverado half tons. Now, if you guys don't remember, I did do a video giving my opinion on what I think the pricing was going to be for these 2027 trucks, and I speculated that the ZR2 was going to go down in price in that video. However, I think I may be wrong because I just saw this article, and yeah, we'll discuss that at the end of this video. But as of right now, the RHO is getting a cheaper package for 2027, which is going to basically give it the Harman Kardon and the larger screen, and then 360 camera is going to come standard on that truck. So you're going to be able to get that truck now, I believe, for under $80,000. Now this one has the 6.2 liter, right? So the starting price of this truck is $71,800, and then this one priced out is $76,090. This ZR2 has the Duramax, and it has no options on it. So basically, $71,800 is the base price. And with the way the truck was built, so it doesn't have a sunroof. It does have 360 camera. Of course, it has the off-road interior. Total price is $74,595. That ain't bad. Now, if you get this 6.2 liter on this one, $1,500 option for that, and it's $195 for the active exhaust because it comes along with this 6.2 liter. So that's the price difference for these. But let's go ahead and jump into the article, because like I told you guys, I think that with the way that the Ford Raptor is being priced and the Ram RHO, GM has to really get aggressive on the pricing of these trim levels because they don't really have a Baja truck. The next generation 2027 Chevy Silverado 1500 introduces a huge list of changes, not the least of which is a thoroughly updated engine lineup. While the popular full-size pickup still offers a turbocharged 4-cylinder, a diesel 6-cylinder, and 2 gasoline-powered V8s, the availability for these 4 engine options has changed a bit from the preceding 2026 Silverado. Now, GM Authority is taking a closer look at the 2027 Chevy Silverado engine availability by trim level. For the 2027 model year, the Silverado lineup will offer an enhanced TurboMax 2.7 liter 4 engine, now tagged with RPO code L4B, while the 3 liter inline 6 LZO turbo diesel Duramax carries over from the 2026 model year, so there's probably not going to be any changes. The new 2027 Silverado also debuts 2 new Gen 6 small blocks, including the 5.7 liter V8 L76 and the 6.6 liter V8 L78. Compared to the outgoing 2026 model year, one of the big changes is greater availability for the Duramax diesel, with the 2027 Silverado set to offer the oil burner for the entry-level work truck, thus opening up the fuel-efficient diesel option to budget-conscious fleet and commercial buyers. The diesel will also be available for custom Trail Boss, Silverado LT, Trail Boss, and High Country with ZR2 models equipped with the LZO as standard. So that's not going to change for 2027. And that's probably good news for some guys. Another noteworthy change would be made to the Silverado Trail Boss. For 2026, buyers could equip LT Trail Boss with the 6.2 liter engine, but now the 2027 Trail Boss won't be offered with the new 6.6 V8. So that was one of the things I got wrong when I did my spreadsheet. I assumed that the Trail Boss, and I'm not talking about the custom Trail Boss, but the regular Silverado Trail Boss was going to get the new 6.6 liter. So did you guys see that? Let me read it to you really quickly. It says here that the Trail Boss won't be offered with the new 6.6 liter engine, leaving the TurboMax and Duramax as the only engine choices at launch. So I guess the 5.7 liter is going to be a late availability, because I would expect it to have at least a 5.7, because it's going to probably have around 400 horsepower, right, out of that engine. We don't know specs right now, and I want to make that point right now. I'm not giving you guys any horsepower or torque numbers right now because they haven't released it, but that's actually really shocking that it's only going to have 2 engine options. Thoughts in the comment section. The article goes on to say the rest of the lineup should be more or less familiar. The TurboMax 4-cylinder will be the standard engine on work truck, custom Trail Boss, Silverado, and Trail Boss models, while the remaining trims will get a V8 or diesel. To note, the new 5.7 liter V8 known as the L76 serves as a replacement for the 5.3 liter V8 L84. Now this is going to show you guys the chart for basically the trim levels here, okay? And they're saying too that availability could change at launch, so just obviously take note of that too. Now, as I just mentioned, the Work Truck Custom Trail Boss, and Silverado are going to get that TurboMax standard. Now, it does say here that the Trail Boss will have the 5.7 liter available, and I'm almost wondering if they're not going to launch the 5.7 right away. It might come in maybe later on, so it's very possible because it's showing that the Trail Boss 2LT will be available with the 5.7 along with the diesel and the TurboMax inline 4 turbo. Now you guys see that Silverado 2FL? That 2FL is for lease. So if you live in an area where lease incentives are better, or you just have a state that likes leasing, well, that truck's for you. And then they have the regular Silverado 1LT, and that's going to be available with obviously the diesel, the 4 turbo, and the 5.7 liter V8. And once you move up to the ZR2 in high country, that's where you're going to get the big boy engine. So the diesel's available for the high country. It comes standard with the 5.7. So I guess maybe they will have to come out with the 5.7 because they're not going to hold off on releasing the high country till later. I wouldn't think they would. So unless they come all with the 6.6 liter and the diesel. But regardless of it, the high country is going to have those 2 V8s plus the diesel, and the 5.7 will be standard. And then this is where I was wrong at with the ZR2. You guys see, they're only saying the standard diesel, and it'll be available with the 6.6 liter. If you were to go from the 5.3 to the 3 liter Duramax on the high country, it would cost you an additional $795. Now, I know that's not a lot of money, especially when you see the fact that this truck was $71,800, but my hope was GM was going to lower the price of the ZR2, right? Get it right around 69 and some change, because people like to see that number. As of right now, if they're not going to add the 5.7, I don't think that they're going to really price this thing accordingly. I guess they're going to really try to push the Trail Boss package trucks, basically. So here's an LT Trail Boss here. Let's see if the window sticker is in the window. I don't think it is, but this truck probably has a price around here. I'll show it to you guys here online real quickly. Never mind, I found a truck right here. So this truck starts at $60,000 even. This is an LT Trail Boss, and remember, it comes with the TurboMax. Now this truck with all the options is $70,285. So that's always been the issue I have, is the Trail Boss, it does have the same lift. You get the 2-inch lift, you just have a different suspension. You have those Ranchos versus the Motimatics, and of course the bumpers, and there's a few other things that change. You have a front rear locker. So yeah, there's a lot more off-road goodies. But I feel as though with Ram and Ford trying to play price wars, it's going to eat into GM's sales. A lot of guys are going to be cross-shopping the ZR2 with those trucks, because I will admit, I love the ZR2. But having that Baja look, it just has a more aggressive style. And I think GM is very possibly going to bring out a competitor with them, most likely towards the TRX and the Raptor R, because I feel like the ZR2 is kind of playing two roles here. So the only good saving grace GM has is that they are the only half-ton truck with a diesel fighter. So I like the idea that you can get this truck at $71,800 plus destination. This truck has the black wheels on it, but this price point on this one is $74,295 because they do deduct for the black gloss wheels. There's no options on this truck, and they come really well equipped. They are getting bigger screens. They're going to get the twin panel roof, so there's going to be some goodies. But I think that for GM to really win, they have to do it on pricing, because off-road trucks are in, and this market is very, very inflated with a bunch of trucks. You have the Trimmer, you have the Rebel. I didn't mention those because those are actually direct competitors with this truck here. But I would say that they do also compete well with the Trail Boss too. So pricing is very, very important. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I still think that the ZR2 is at the top of the list. I think that some guys are just going to eat up this truck because of all the nice features that it's going to have. GM is really fixing a lot of things. I haven't even mentioned this yet, but if you were to look at a GMC Sierra, they don't have a place for sunshades. At least GM gives you this little cubby here, but now they're going to be adding a place up top for sunshades. So I didn't mention that in any other videos, but I did see that in an article. But yeah, overall, with what I'm seeing, the 6.6 liter is going to be a hit. I think a lot of people are going to skip the diesel and go 6.6 because it's going to have probably big horsepower, big torque. And because the diesel is getting carried over for 2027, I can see a lot of guys wanting to try out that 6.6 liter. It's very possible it will be more fuel efficient. But if it were me right now, here's what I would do. I would come to the dealership. I'm here at Ken Garff Chevrolet in American Fork. I would really consider buying a 2026, maybe even leasing it, just simply because you guys do know new engines are going to have their fair share of issues. So in 3 years, GM would have updated the 2027s. So unless you got to have the new latest and greatest, and a lot of guys out there like to do that, and that's okay. Some people just want to get the latest and greatest. I would lease right now, and in 3 years, then I would make the change, because of course when those new trucks come out, there's probably not going to be any incentives, and some dealerships are going to try to hit you at sticker on certain trim levels, especially ZR2. So be on the lookout for some upcoming videos. I'm sure we're going to see horsepower and torque numbers really soon, and when they release pricing, I am going to do a comparison showing you guys my price versus theirs to see how close I was. See you guys in the next video.